सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। अर्यातीतरसीवर धगवारिस गुगैल अरिवायरमि परमात्मन् अरुणाचल रमणन् परिवाल्वुळम उरुगानल परनार्ந்திடு குகையார்ந்து அறிவாம் விழித்திரவாய் நிசமறிவாய் அது வெளியாம் அண்ணாமலையாய் அடியேனை ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாய் எனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னேனிவற்றை என்னுயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையிற் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையிற் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே। ஓம் அதிமதுர சாபஹஸ்தாம் அபரிமிதாம் மோதபான சௌபாக்யாம் அருணாம் அதிசய கருணாம் அபிநவ குலசுந்தரீம் வந்தே। ஓம் ஐம் ப்ரீம் ஸ்ரீ அருணாச்சலம்। Glad to see you all again. Most of you, I suppose, and some of you are new, I suppose. So what we are going to learn next 3 days is the knowledge of one's own self, about ourselves only, not about any God sitting anywhere. We are going to learn about our own true self. So why is it important? When we know ourselves truly, then we can relate to the world in the most scientific way and also most beautiful way. And we can live here very happily, spreading joy and peace everywhere. We are very disturbed, agitated, confused because we do not know ourselves. And we mess up our life and we trouble everybody because we are very hollow inside. Hollow means what? We don't have peace. We don't have that bliss, the joy within. So, to know oneself and to abide there is actually the goal of human life. That is what we are going to see for the next 3 days. And you all know, I suppose, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi, a great saint who lived in Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala Kshetra. For 54 years he lived there. So he was a great exponent of this self-inquiry, Atma Vichara, who am I? So when he was 21, he gave out these answers to one of the devotees, Shiva Prakasham Pillai. And till the end, That was his teaching. That is the beauty of Bhagavan's teaching. See, the scientific inquiries, when you start, you collect some data, you analyze, you try to understand, you classify, and then you understand. But later, with the time, all the ideas change, or understanding changes. But Bhagavan, whatever he said that day, that was the final truth. So therefore, he maintained it, or he was always abiding in it till his end. That was absolute truth. So this is something remarkable. Imagine a lad of 21 who has spoken, and that is it. That is absolute truth. That's why it was not changing at all till the end. You understand? So he has given a good introduction. So without wasting time, we will straight away plunge into this small book. Right? See, actually Bhagavan wrote the answers in Tamil, and later it was translated, I suppose, by one great professor, Mahadevan, TMP Mahadevan. A very good translation, I suppose. I went through it, very good translation. So I would have loved to take it in Tamil, but most of you do not understand Tamil. You are going to read English. There are 28 questions and answers. We will take one by one. I will read out and then I will try to explain. And at the end of 20-25 minutes, we will give out for the question and answer also. Another question and answer from the question and answer. You understand? Okay. Who am I? Non-yar. You all have the book now? See, the introduction given to this book, to this text or to this question and answer by Bhagavan himself, itself requires a lot of contemplation actually. It's most beautiful. All living beings desire to be happy always, without any misery. In everyone there is observed supreme love for oneself. And happiness alone is the cause of love. In order, therefore, to gain that happiness which is one's nature and which is experienced in the state of deep sleep, where there is no mind, one should know oneself. To achieve this, the path of knowledge, the inquiry in the form of who am I, is a principal means. So this is the introduction given. See, in traditional Vedanta Shastra also, it is said, the goal of all beings in this world is dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti. Dukkha nivritti means we don't want to be miserable. Is that not so? We don't want dukkha. Nobody wants. Sukha prapti. All of us wants to be happy always. Blissful always. Is that not so? See, this is the instinct of all the beings. That is why we seek continuously, from the birth to the death, happiness. Alas, we think it is in the sense objects and we seek the objects of the world. But till the end it eludes us, the real happiness. And we run from pillar to the post, not knowing where to really, enjoy that kind of unadulterated bliss without any sorrow. So that is the goal of all the beings, right? That is the first thing which we have to think about. The second point, we all love ourselves the most. Is that not so? We do love others, but still all the love towards the world is conditional. But when we love ourselves, it's unconditional. Whatever we are, we love ourselves. Is that not so? If the people give us happiness, we love them. If they start giving sorrows, trouble, then we don't. But in spite of ourselves, we love ourselves. Is that not so? So, the second point, a very important point is, we love ourselves the most, in spite of ourselves, unconditionally. Now, we love only that which gives happiness, which is a source of joy. We love only that. Therefore, see, beautiful thought, a very scientific way of approach. Therefore, ourself should be of supreme joy. 1 minute, Swamiji, please repeat. Number 1, we only seek happiness, joy, ananda, bliss. Number 2, we love ourselves the most. And number 3, we find in the world, we love only that which gives us happiness. Therefore, we love ourselves the most. Why? Because it should be the source of all happiness, all ananda, all bliss. The self should be the source of all bliss. You understand the logic? Why the self is of the nature of bliss? Because we love it most, and we love only that which gives us happiness. Therefore, the self is of the nature of bliss. At the age of 21, this young lad has given out this knowledge. See? So we all want to be happy. We all want that bliss. So therefore, you should know yourself, which is the source of all bliss. How to know it? Inquire, who am I? Through self-inquiry. We all want happiness. The self is the source of all happiness. Why do you say that? We love only happiness. We love ourselves the most. Therefore, the self is of the nature of happiness or bliss. And how to seek it? By inquiring, who am I? Self-inquiry. Why do we go to God? Why do we worship God? Because we love ourselves the most. We believe God will give us some boons, something which will make us happy. Or the Lord will protect us from all the evil, from all dukkha, all miseries. See? Therefore we go to God. So we go to God not for God's sake. We go to God only for our sake. Because we love ourselves the most, not the God. God also is of the nature of the self. You understand? Therefore, seeking oneself is the theme of all the scriptures, of all the Upanishads. See, in the Satya Yuga, people were so subtle, so sattvic, so they were not needing any form of God or any personal God. But later what happened, people became very gross, very sort of polluted, corrupt. So they needed something to hold on. That is why so much of gods. And then the upasana, the worship of God, to make the mind, pure and single pointed. At the end of the day, how many ever gods you know, it will not satisfy you. Because whatever appears will disappear. You have to know oneself. Because God is also of the nature of the true self only. So knowing the self is everything. See, from the childhood onwards, we have been misled. Something called knowing the God and all. But actually it is knowing the self only. You understand? But people cannot understand what is the meaning of knowing the self. So then they say, okay, no God, there is a God who can help you. See, God can really help you. But you have to help yourself first. Then He will help you. But actually, Swatma Darshanam is Isha Darshanam. Knowing oneself is knowing God. That is the way out of all these miseries, sorrows. You understand? So, knowing the self is everything. Because that is source of all joy and bliss and happiness. You understand? So this is the introduction given to this book. Now, the first question. Who am I? See, here, once again, a very scientific approach. The gross body, which is composed of the 7 dhatus. Humors is the dhatus. I am not. The 5 cognitive sense organs, which is the senses of hearing, touch, sight, taste and smell, which apprehend their respective objects with sound, touch, color, taste and color. I am not. The 5 cognitive sense organs, the organs of speech, locomotion, grasping, excretion and procreation, which have as their respective functions speaking, moving, grasping, excreting, enjoying, I am not. The 5 vital airs, prana, etc., which perform respectively the 5 functions of inbreathing, etc., I am not. Even the mind which thinks, I am not. The nescience too. Nescience means, in Sanskrit it's called avidya or ignorance, which is endowed only with the residual impressions of objects, and in which there are no objects and no functionings. I am not. If I am none of these, then who am I? Second question. After negating all of the above mentioned as not this, that awareness which alone remains, that I am. See? Edutha straightforward. Who am I? See, we always tend to think we are this body, na? This body we are. That's what we tend to think. What is this body made of? Sapta dhatus, it is said. Sapta dhatus means what? Roughly speaking, flesh, blood, fat, marrow, all those stuff. So these are called, there are 7 of those sapta dhatus. So this is what I am, we think. So it is rejected. No, it is not. Because all those are very gross and inert, insentient. So the sapta dhatus, 7 dhatus, like flesh, blood, I am made up of, the body is made up of. I am not. So first and foremost, this body which is made up of these gross elements is negated. I am not. Then maybe I am the sense organs like eyes, ears. No. And not also the sense objects which is revealed through those sense organs. I am not. Am I the organs of action? Like hands, legs, speech, etc.? No. Then who am I? Am I the mind which is thinking, which is imagining? No. According to our Vedanta Shastra, even the mind is an object of our awareness, of our knowledge. So it cannot be the self, the very self. It is just an object. Because we know the thoughts, right? When the thoughts rise in our mind, we know it. So the knower should be something else, who should be somebody else. So I am not. Even the fear, the emotions, the fear, the passion, the lust and passion, all those things I know. Therefore, the knower should be somebody else. You understand? So therefore, all the thoughts which are rising in the mind, and the mind is not me. So everything is rejected here, saying, I am not, I am not, I am na iti, na iti, na iti. And maybe I am that shunya, or that, here it's nescience, means what? The ignorance. No, there is no ignorance. I am of the nature of knowledge. So I am not. Even I know I am ignorant. Is that not so? So I am not any of these things. See, we generally consider ourselves to this body or the mind. When the mind is happy, we say, I am happy today. I am in a very good mood. When the mind is very dull, then we say, I am so, not in the mood. Very, very sad. We identify so much with the mind and we think the emotions and the ideas, thoughts of the mind to be our own. So we say, I am that, I am the mind like. But here it is said, no, 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 no. You cannot be the body or the mind. Then who am I? We have been thinking you are this only, son of so and so, all those stuff. But he said, no. See, there is a book called as Drik Drishya Viveka, attributed to Adi Shankara. There it is very clearly said. Drik means the seer, Drishya means the seen. All these things are seen, the objects of your perception. So it cannot be the very seer, the subject. So therefore it is said, not. I am not all these things. And it is all rejected. Swamiji, what is the need of rejecting all those things? Because we identify with the not self, that is the body mind, and that becomes the cause of all suffering. Why? The body grows, and then after some time the body decays. Then old age, disease and death. Then we become very sad. I am growing old, nowadays. Nobody wants to become old. You know why? Because our self is nava. It can never become old. That is our true self. That is why we intuitively know. I am young at heart, we say. Na? So, the body we identify and we say, I am growing old. And I am unable to see. I don't know. We become so sad. Yeah, true. It's an organ which is now slowly deteriorating. So, how does it matter? Yes, in transaction world it's difficult. But we so much identify with that. And we really feel very sad about it. Like that, if you go mind, so much we identify with the mind, with the relationships. And we feel so, cheated, so neglected, lonely, so many emotions. We are very confused. We suffer, but we know we are not all those things. We are something else, which is Satchidananda, pure self, which is Ananda. Then there is no suffering. Understand? That is why we should know our true self. So it is negated. I am not. I am not. Na iti. Na iti. Na means I am not. I am not. Then the question is, if I am none of these, then who am I? Then the answer is, after negating all of the above mentioned as not this, that awareness which alone remains, that I am. Meaning, Tamil nalla sollapattirukku. And the arivunu sollapattirukku. Means, one who is rejecting everything. That pure self I am. Meaning, after rejecting everything, whatever remains is me. Meaning, in the peak of meditation, when the body, mind, everything is transcended, when all the instruments of perception, all the instruments of thinking is dropped, whatever remains is the pure self. See, now in the transactional world, we use these instruments like eyes and ears, and then use the instrument called mind and intellect to transact in this world. When all these things are dropped as not, I am not, and whatever remains as a pure awareness, the pure being, that is the true self. Sutta Arive Sivam. That knowledge which remains after negating all the instruments, the body, mind, and everything, that pure consciousness, the pure knowledge which remains, that is the self. And that is infinite, meaning there is no beginning or no end to it, and no change also, no rising or no falling, no waxing or waning. It is infinite, the same, and that is Ananda, bliss. as long as we are functioning in the world outside, we need these instruments. The sense organs, the mind, everything we need. But we should not identify with it. That is the problem. See, if we have to travel, we need a scooter or a bike or whatever, car or whatever. There is nothing wrong if you ride on a scooter or a car or whatever. But if you suddenly think this car is me, if something happens to the car, something happens to me, then there is something wrong. So with the body and mind, we can use those instruments, but we cannot identify and say it is me. Then all the trouble starts. So when you negate as not me, not I, not I, not I, whatever remains. See, when you are a father, when you are a husband, or you are a officer or whatever, you can play that role through this body mind. But you should not identify totally and become that and suffer. You should be able to see you are playing a role. And when the role is over, it should be dropped then and there. That is spiritual living. But we can't. We carry everywhere ourselves and we mess up everything. The perfect man's mind is like a mirror. It accepts everything, rejects nothing, reflects everything and retains nothing. Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji, beautifully he writes, a perfect man's mind is like a mirror. Mirror means what? It accepts everything, all the experiences, whatever comes. Rejects nothing. The mirror cannot reject anything. It reflects everything. It doesn't keep anything. Retains nothing. Similarly, whatever may be the experience, you go through. Let it come. You go through. But when it's over, it's over. You should not carry any of the experiences. And you should be always pure, unaffected, untainted by any of the experiences. That is spiritual living. But we live the opposite way. We don't accept everything. We always fight. And we carry everything. And we suffer. See? Therefore, who am I? I am not any of these body, mind, intellect equipments. I am beyond. I am that pure awareness which remains when all these things, all these instruments are transcended. To know the self, you don't need any equipment. To know any other thing in the world, you need something. You need a microscope or a telescope, or you need your eyes, ears, or you need at least the mind. But to know the self, you don't need anything. This is the beauty of the self. You don't need anything. Just remind yourself and there you are. It is the most beautiful thing. And that is the blissful thing. So to be happy, to be blissful, you don't need anything. Kaupinavanta kalubhagyavanta. So one who is really fortunate, bhagyavanta, kaupinavanta, who has nothing, who has become nothing, he is indeed fortunate. We think only by accumulating things, by enjoying things we are happy. No. By giving up everything only, tyageneke amrutatva manusha, one is happy. So therefore, here it is said, when everything is given up, what remains is this, which cannot be given up. Choiceless, objectless awareness. Choiceless, effortless, objectless awareness. So that is the true self. Okay? See, whatever questions come in your mind, please make note of it. So we are going to give some opportunity. You can express yourself. Okay? Now moving on to the third question. What is the nature of awareness? Now it is said in the second answer, after negating all of the above mentioned as not this, the awareness which alone remains, that I am. So then the third question is, what is the nature of awareness? Awareness na ennapa? The nature of awareness is existence, consciousness, bliss. Satchit Anandam. In Sanskrit it is called Satchit Anandam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Sat means that existence which is not dependent on anything else. Sat. Which is not conditioned by space and time. Nannartham, you are wherever you are, whenever you are. That is Sat. Your existence, your being is unconditioned. That is Sat. It will not change, it will not perish. Chit means, and you are aware. See, that is the most beautiful thing. In Shaktam, it is revealed, Ambal expresses as the Chit Swarupa. What is the fun if you don't know yourself? You are that. That is beautiful. But if you don't know that, see, electricity is there. But if you do not know how to connect, what is the use? Similarly, you know you are that pure being. But if you do not know that awareness or being and knowing or awareness is Chit Swarupa. That is very important. And that is Anantam, limitless. That is Anandam. You know what? Whatever is limited, Kshanikam, Sarvam Dukkham. Buddha has said, whatever is limited is painful, sorrow-stricken. So whatever is not limited, that is bliss. It is not conditioned by anything. Imagine a thing or whatever a state which is not conditioned by anything. That is Anandam. Always we are conditioned by something or other. Let us say we are sitting quietly. Still we are conditioned. After some time, pain here, pain there. We are conditioned. Let us say we are sleeping. We can't go on sleeping. We have to get up. We are conditioned. Sleep cannot continue forever. Even though you are a brother of Kumbhakarna, you cannot go on sleeping for, eternity. So therefore, you are conditioned always by something or other. Happiness also. How can you be happy always? No. It comes and goes. Emotions. We are conditioned always. So this unconditioned being is bliss. So what is our true nature? Satchidanandam. Meaning our existence is not dependent on anything. And we are aware. And then it is infinite. Therefore, it is Anandam. See, Anandam is not an emotional thing. Open happiness. Coke. For Coke they advertise open happiness. So if you drink, happiness. No, that is not the bliss. So that's why if you understand that as bliss, when you see Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, you will suspect, I think there is something wrong. That is not bliss. Something else it is. Something else it is. You understand? It is not an emotion. Because emotion is through the mind. They are beyond mind. So it's something else which we have to explore. What is true bliss? So our Acharya has said, which is not conditioned by anything. The space, time and objects, which is not conditioned by anything. That is bliss. You need not even experience. You just imagine or think about it. Not conditioned by anything. See, we always want that kind of a state of experience, We say, after finishing everything, I will retire. That is what I aim. Retire. But we can't retire with the body mind. There is no ease, there is always a dis-ease. We are not at ease. Disease. Only when you go beyond body mind, that is bliss, that is ease, at ease. That is called as effortless. At ease. That is bliss. முயற்சி இல்லாத நிலை தான் ஆனந்த நிலை. எப்போ முயற்சி இருக்கோ அது வரைக்கும் துக்கம் தான். இப்போ நல்ல பழுத்த சோம்பேறி தான் ஆனந்தமா இருப்பானான்னு கேட்டா ஆமா. சோம்பியாய் சும்மா சுகமுண்டுறங்கிடு சொல்வேர் என்கதி அருணாச்சலா. Meaning his state is something else beyond body mind. You understand? So that is Ananda, bliss. Hey, what is the time? You started by 6:30?
6:30.
So half an hour. Okay. So the fourth question. When will the realization of the self be gained? We all ask this question. Huh? When will I be realized? You die, then you will realize. Swamiji, what is this? No, seriously, I am telling you. You can realize only when you die. When you, the ego, dies. When the world, beautiful, see. When the world, which is what is seen, the drishya padartha, whatever is observed, seen, has been removed, there will be realization of self, which is the seer. See, this is what we saw in Yoga Vasishtam also. There is a seer, drik, and seen, drishya. The seen, right? Seen means drishya padartha, whatever is seen or experienced. And in Yoga Vasishtam it is said, always the seer is conditioned by the seen. Seen means objects, emotions, thoughts. When all the seen ends, then there is no seer also, and he is liberated. So when will I realize liberated? When there is no drishya padartha, when everything ends, all the scene ends, then there is no seer also, then there is peace. What is this, Swami? What is this philosophy? When you will attain peace? When all the world disappears, then there is peace. Can it happen? In the deep sleep, every day we experience this. See, it is not very new to us. In deep sleep, everything goes. Is that not so? All the world of objects, emotion, thoughts, everything goes. And we get up and we say, I enjoyed. I really slept well. Swamiji, I had a wonderful sleep. See? We have enjoyed. We think only by acquiring, possessing, enjoying, we enjoy. But in deep sleep, we have renounced everything and we have enjoyed. How come? Therefore, the Ananda is not enjoying through senses. It is transcending all the senses, mind and everything. That is the real Ananda. But unfortunately, in deep sleep, there is an element of ignorance, meaning the true nature is not realized. Therefore, we are not aware of that Ananda at that moment. See? But in Samadhi, what happens? Consciously you transcend the body mind. So you are aware of that infinite, that sthiti. That is the difference between the deep sleep and the Samadhi. There also there is nothing in Samadhi. So, when will the realization of self be gained? When the world has been removed, there will be realization of self. இதெல்லாம் கேட்டால் ரொம்ப நமக்கு வினோதமாக இருக்கும். See, ordinary people when they hear this, what? When all the world is removed, all the scene is removed, then only there is liberation or realization. Swamiji, what is this? How can it happen? It can happen when you go beyond the body mind. In that state, there is no objects to be seen or to be experienced. There is only the pure self, which is even cannot be called a seer. Only with respect to the seen, he gains the status of a seer. When the seen is not, why you call him as a seer also? See, you understand? So he is that pure, infinite thing. That is the self-realization. Only this is very hard. If I sit quiet, there are so many thoughts. The world is too much for me. How to just get rid of this whole world? I think it is not possible, Swamiji. If we come for a solution, you give a solution which is crude. And what not only crude, it is ridiculous. You say, when all the world is destroyed or removed, then there is realization. What is this, Swamiji? See, one more thing I want to caution you all. We are studying the crux of the Upanishad, or the highest knowledge. So you are in the PhD class or post-doctorate class you are sitting actually. You understand, you are not in primary, you are not higher secondary class. So therefore it's something, very profound. So, what do they mean by that? This is very important. What do they mean when all the Drishya Padartham, the world, the scene, everything is removed, then the self-realization can happen? Do we need such a self-realization? Then my wife, children, everybody will be gone. Then my property will be gone. My God, I don't want such self-realization. In Yoga Vasishtha also it is said, though it is said the seer is always influenced by the seen, actually the seen cannot influence the seer. The seer has got his own likes and dislikes. He values and he gives so much of value to certain things. And he likes certain things. He dislikes or hates certain other things. Because of that only he is influenced, not by the objects per se. He is influenced because of his own inherent likes and dislikes, because of his own vasanas, impressions. So therefore, if you have to give up the scene, it is simply you have to give up your own vasanas, likes and dislikes. See, a stone somewhere will not disturb me. Why? I have no like or dislike. By certain people whom I love or whom I feel very close to, they disturb me. Or the people whom I don't like, I hate, they disturb me again and again. So, the objects cannot disturb us, influence us. We give the power to the object to influence us through our own likes and dislikes. Once again, through our own vasanas. So, what is the meaning of destroying all the scene? The meaning is destroy all the vasanas. Vasanakshayam. That is realization. In Yoga Vasishtha it is said. So why I am quoting Yoga Vasishtha very often? Because very recently we read Yoga Vasishtha. We studied Yoga Vasishtha. It is very fresh in my memory. So when all the vasanas are eliminated, destroyed, then everything will change. The vision completely changes. I tell you, the vision completely changes. The vision completely changes. There is no more seen as seen. It all becomes the self. How, Swamiji? You go and see. It is magic, like magic wand. Everything becomes the self. Self means what? See, the experience is, though you transact in the world like before, but your experience is all is self. And there is nothing other than the self. How? You go and see. You cannot understand through the intellect. It is limited. So when all the vasanas are destroyed, actually Drishya Padartha vanishes means what? It will no more remain as other than me, separate from me, other than me. Somehow the experience is all is self. is what it means. Drishya Padartha is removed means what? Everything becomes the self. The state of, the sense of otherness vanishes. The sense of separateness vanishes. Our Acharyaji repeats this again and again. The sense of separateness and the sense of otherness, that goes away. When Drishya Padartha is removed means what? This ignorance that everything is different from me is removed. Everything is different, separated from each other. Those things are taken away. And the self and the experience is all is self. That is what it means. Drishya Padartha is destroyed means. Swamiji, please give us some time. Let it sink in. The whole day is there, the whole night is there, you can go and contemplate. Let it sink in. So that is self-realization. When all the scene is removed means what? When it appears as no more as a scene, as an object, somehow it remains as the self, the very self. It is very fascinating. When you come to Bhagavan, he takes you straight to the self. As he beautifully introduced, no jargons, no sort of web of thoughts and concepts, and straight he takes to the truth. I think another 10 minutes I can go.
Yes, Swami.
Here the fifth question, very interesting question. Will there not be realization of the self even while the world is there or perceived? He says there will not be self-realization when the world is perceived as the world, as an object other than us, separate from us. No. Kallakanda Nayaka, Nayakanda Kallakanda. Meaning, see, once a son and the father, they were going around, they were going to a sort of an exhibition. There was a big elephant, stone elephant. The son, being the son, very young fellow, he got so scared. Oh elephant, he said. And the father said, no, it's just a stone. What, it's elephant? No, it's just a stone. Papa, come. Beta, come. When he went near and he touched, oh, it's stone. My God. After that, that fellow can never have a fear of elephant. It's just a stone for him. But when he was not perceiving the stone as a stone, it is a scary, big, huge animal, elephant for him. So this world is too much for us because we consider it as something else, mysterious, strange to us. When you consider the world to be the self, the fear, everything vanishes. And then you cannot take it to be something other than you. Once and for all gone, that ignorance that it is other than you. Again it cannot come back, this ignorance cannot come back. See, this example also always I give in my discourses. See, sometimes the youngsters, they come to us and they show a picture. And they say, Swamiji, can you see this, something very unique in this? We see. And then suddenly we see a picture of an old lady there. Face of an old lady. Face of the old lady. And afterwards, even if you don't want to see that face of the old lady, you will see it. You cannot avoid seeing it. You understand? You get my point? Or where is that old lady? Where is that old lady? I am not able to see. Meaning, pashyati sappashyati. Afterwards, even if you don't want to see that old lady, you will see. Something like that. This realization, something like that. After that, you cannot see the world other than you. So as long as you see the world other than you, separate from you, till then you will not have the final realization of the self. The Veda Buddhi irukra varaikkum and the Atma Dharshanam undahadu. This ahankar, I, the ego creates the Veda Buddhi. So as long as the I is there, the ego is there, you will not have realization. Because this I, the ego creates the Veda. I am different from these things. That is the ego. Because I am the body, I am different from all these things. So you cannot have at the same time the Veda Buddhi also and Aveda Buddhi also. Is it possible? I want to see the world also, I want the vision of oneness also. How is it? How it can happen? You cannot have the Veda Buddhi. World means what? Veda Buddhi. You cannot have the Veda Buddhi also and Aveda Buddhi also, both at the same time. It's very contradictory, is it not so? Therefore he is saying, no, as long as you see the world means what? Something other than you, separate from each other, then you will not have this vision of oneness. Only when all this Veda Buddhi goes, that is vision of oneness. That's what we have to understand. See, to understand Bhagavan, we have to go to Adi Shankara. When you have the foundation of Adi Shankara, you can understand Bhagavan beautifully. Once when you go to Bhagavan, no coming back to anybody, anything. You are gone. That is Bhagavan. The Bhagavan is so beautiful because he makes everything very simple. He keeps everything very simple. No cluttering of the mind. He keeps everything simple. So therefore it's very clear. Will there not be realization of the self? Even when the world is there, there will not be. Why? The question is asked, next question. Why? The seer and the object seen are like the rope and the snake. Like the rope and the snake. Just as the knowledge of the rope, which is substratum, will not arise unless the false knowledge of the illusory serpent goes. So the realization of the self, which is substratum, will not be gained unless the belief that the world is real is removed. This is a famous example of the snake and the rope. When you see the snake, definitely we will not have the vision of the rope. Is it not so? The vision of the snake is illusory. It's not true. Only when you are very clear that it is not a rope, then you can see the rope. It is not the snake, then you can see the rope. Once when you see it as a rope, then you will never confuse it with a snake. Is it not so? So, no, at the same time I should have the idea of it's a snake also and rope also. It cannot happen. Only when the idea of snake gone forever, then you will have the knowledge of the rope as a rope. Because the idea of snake is an illusion. It's not true. Similarly, the idea of the world, that is something other than me, is an illusion. So when you think God realization means all the Drishya Padartha is gone, nothing is there means, then you know what should happen? All the Mahatmas should become blind. Hey, onnume theriyala, nothing is seen, I don't recognize anybody, everything has become mass of consciousness. What will I do now? I am also not there. It's not that. Please, don't have all such of funny misconceptions. See, I tell you, even serious seekers, they have useless misconceptions. Oh, everything will become mass of consciousness. They also transact in the world. Bhagavan, he cooks more beautiful than us, more tastier than us. How? He sees everything. Then, but he sees as a self, not as an object. How? That is the mystery which has to be resolved. That is self-knowledge. So we'll stop here. Very concentrated stuff, right? So these 3 days will not be enough, I suppose. We will see. If it is required, we will have one more session next month or whatever. 2-3 months later also we can have. But we will see how it goes. We don't know how Bhagavan takes, right? So we'll stop here and we will open up for question and answer.
I will stop the recording here.
Hey, no need.
You can continue.
Swamiji, what is the difference between sleep and meditation? Like, during meditation, do we go to the state of sleep?
Her question is, Swamiji, what is the difference between state of sleep and meditation? So I am repeating the question because sometimes the recorder may not take, that's why. Wait. See, that's what I told you now. In deep sleep, there is abheda. There are no differences. We don't perceive any difference, right? But there is no awareness. Awareness means what? There is no, we are not awake. We are not conscious, right? Somehow. But in the waking state, we are awake, but there is always differences are seen. Bedam, the differences are seen. Meditation or the state of samadhi is such, where you are awake and no differences are seen. So, you are bringing the deep sleep into the waking state. That is called a samadhi. Jagrat Sushupti it is called. Jagrat means waking state. Sushupti means deep sleep state. When you can bring the deep sleep state into the waking state, that is called a samadhi. Once again I will explain to you. In deep sleep state, you don't perceive any differences. But you are also not awake for some reason. In the waking state, we are awake, but we see only differences. You bring together. So you should be awake and you should not perceive any difference. That is samadhi. That is realization. You understand? So in samadhi, the awareness is very much intact, but all the differences merge. You don't perceive any differences. That is samadhi. And that can be, when that can be maintained like that, that is awakening. And afterwards, he will not see any difference whatsoever. But he can transact in the world, but he will not see any differences. Therefore, that is true love. See, only when you see yourself in others, that can be true love. Otherwise, there cannot be any love. So he is so compassionate and he is truly loving. And still since he is abiding in the true knowledge, for him all the knowledge becomes very clear. He becomes a beacon of light for everyone. That is the beauty. So bring the deep sleep experience into the waking. Some people do it in the lectures also. They are in samadhi only. We cannot complain. They are in samadhi. Anything else?
They are having the continuous thoughts. But thoughts, how to be minimized? Thoughts.
His question is, Swamiji, we have got continuous thoughts. How to minimize the thoughts? Wait for one more day.
Okay.
Tomorrow we are going to see only that. Bhagavan is going to talk about that tomorrow. The next class, I mean. Huh? So he is going to only handle that only. How to minimize, how to do away with the thoughts. That is the idea in the next few questions and answers. We will see it. Huh?
We talked about transcending body, mind, and we say body is jada, right? But when Bhagavan also had that cancer, the pain was there. It was almost like 1,000 scorpions stinging, right? So how should we understand it? Transcended body, mind, but still the pain is there. So how should we?
Beautiful question. His question is, Swamiji, you say Bhagavan has transcended body, mind, but still he was feeling acute pain when he was having the cancer, right? See, this is very strange in the sense, they abide in the self. From that standpoint, there is no body-mind actually speaking. But from onlooker's standpoint, he is having body-mind. He is going through experiences. So, the mind expresses, the body feels, the mind expresses, but he is beyond. But we see only the expression. Therefore, we say, how come? One more question put to Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji. One devotee asked Gurudev, Ramakrishna Paramahansa had got throat cancer. He was suffering so much, he was, rolling with pain. Bhagavan had cancer, but to great extent, though he was telling that very painful, he was very serene. How come? How can he reconcile? Gurudev said, both is natak, both is drama. Both is drama. We are only seeing the expression, but they are not the expression, they are beyond. They are that thing which is expressed. You understand? This is one idea. Another idea given by Swami Tapovan Maharaj, Gurudev's Gurudev. He says it is like standing in the deep, in the waist deep of Ganges, in the hot sun. At the same time, you feel very hot also, very cool also. So you cannot understand this unless you remain there. So definitely, what they say, they are beyond. So they didn't say they are suffering. They only said, I can realize the pain. Like you see the world, after realization that I can transact. No? So the pain also they know. But they don't identify. So therefore they are beyond only. You understand? It's very difficult to comprehend their existence or their state. So Jivan Mukta Sthiti cannot be comprehended by a Ajnani. Only when you become a Jivan Mukta, you will know what a Jivan Mukta is. So it is possible, as long as he is living in this world with a body mind, as a Jivan Mukta, you may see him to be suffering or enjoying whatever, but he is beyond. But we cannot appreciate that. We see only the expression. The expressions can be little different. Certain masters are there, they get angry. They even give galis. They shout, they yell, and they even bad words they use. They throw stones. How come? He should be a jnani means what? Same, serene. No. See, that's what. It's very, very hard to comprehend the state of a realized master. That is what. It's a very good question, but Inbamum, Tunbamum, Illane, Ullane, Sivapuranam. In Sivapuranam it comes Inbamum, Tunbamum, Illane, Ullane. In the same sentence he says, the joy and sorrow, Inbamum, Tunbamum, Illane, one who has not got, Ullane, one who has got. Illane is only Ullane. How can you say Illane, Ullane? That is how it is. Inbamum, Tunbamum, Illane, Ullane. See, the Lord, Ishvara, is totally dispassionate. Asangoham, Asango. He is the embodiment of dispassion. But when it comes to the devotees, his heart also melts. How come? He is totally dispassionate. Beyond means what? Whatever happens to you, why should he be compassionate? Why should he feel very sad or very this thing about it? Bhagavan cried, it seems, when a devotee came and said, I lost my husband, my children, this, that. He also cried with that devotee. How come? Inbamum, Tunbamum, Illane, Ullane. See, they will not become a rock like we think, a Jadavastu. Nothing will happen to them like a rock there. No. They are very softer than the flower, harder than the rock. We cannot understand.
What is wrong with like if he has pain, he can express, right?
He has expressed.
He is a human being.
Yeah, he has expressed. But his thing is, but his thing is, if you say that the jnani is beyond body, transcended body.
I understand, but then there is nothing wrong in saying I have pain, right?
No, there's nothing wrong. But his question is, why is he feeling pain? That is his question. If he is not the body, he has transcended the body. He is only experiencing that Brahman. His question is then why the pain which is associated with the body he is expressing or he is feeling? That is his question. Very, very good question actually. No, it's not the question of expressing or not expressing. His question, why is he feeling the pain? If he has no body or no mind. See, mind only can feel. Body has got the disease. Then why is that expression, he is asking. It's not why is he expressing Kekla. Why is that expression?
Swamiji, again, I do meditation at home. I feel very peaceful while doing and after completing also. But my family members have a problem in the sense they feel I'm sleeping in the.
What is their problem? If you sleep, they should be happy now.
No,
At least you are not troubling them now.
They feel instead of lying down and sleeping, I'm sitting and sleeping.
Oh, okay. So what is the question?
No, why I asked you the difference between between meditation and sleeping is that so?
No, actually, Amma, I tell you, there is a very, very, very fine difference actually. Because in sleep also you enjoy peace. In the Samadhi sthiti also total peace. You understand? Sometimes it's very difficult to differentiate. But that awareness or the being conscious is a very important thing. When you are sitting and you are very conscious, awake and conscious, then you are not sleeping. But when you are dull, like that, your head jerk, then you are sleeping. Means that is a dull state. And the madri thala, then you are sleeping. But you know what? But for Mahatma, all this cannot also be said. For him, there is no sleep or there is no waking, there is no dream. All states have become one. For him, you may see him also to be sleeping, but he is not. Others were different for the realized soul. But for ordinary sadhaks, if you are very awake, you feel, you can know it, then you are not sleeping. But if you are dull, you are sleeping. So why should you worry about others? Let them say anything. If you are happy, see, even though if you are sleeping, but if you are trying at least, the Lord will be very happy with you. Just I am telling you, you may not be sleeping, I don't know what you are doing. Let us say you are sleeping. Still, you are trying to meditate. That is very good. See, the Lord will be very happy with you. He will guide you. He is within as Atma the Self. He will guide you. So don't worry about anything. You continue. And the Lord is within. He will help. See, they are very jealous of you. How come this lady, this Amma is able to sit? We are not able to sit. That is what. They are scared also. If she becomes a jnani and if I remain ajnani, what will happen? You understand? Suppose your husband, he feels, if she becomes a jnani, what will happen to me? Then I have to bow down to her. That cannot be accepted. You know what? This Ananta Mahima, she was a born jnani actually. But still she was married and all, she had gone through everything. Later, her husband became her disciple. Disciple means what? Such reverence he had. But Amma had always the respect of her husband. She gave respect as a husband. But he became a devotee or a sort of a disciple of Anandamayi. Such a reverence he had got. He understood. She is not an ordinary lady, she is a divine lady. Anything else? Or shall conclude? Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudhachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.